There's a big promotion coming up. I get overlooked on this just because I've got a vagina. Something that every woman in their life needs to hear is, don't be scared of money. It's one person to say the right thing to you. Just one person to say, hey, let me help you.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, the Noongar Wadandi Mort. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.
Scratch the surface and everyone has a story. Welcome, Kaya, to the wisdom of women.
Let's talk about money. There's a great quote that says, women with power and women with money are two uncomfortable ideas. That's a Sex and the City author Candice Bushnell quote.
Oh, is it? Mm. Now, money isn't everything, but it can help with everything. Our chat today is with a good mate and extremely qualified bean counter. Welcome to the WOW studio, Alisha.
Hi.
Alisha Fenn.
How you going?
Good.
A funny thing my husband actually says to me is, money can't buy you everything, but it can buy you a boat.
Because that's all some people need. Just a boat. The power of money to achieve, bring you happiness. Yeah. Alisha, you love numbers.
Love them. I don't know. Do you know, when I was growing up, I never knew what I wanted to be when I was older. And I went through school and I was great with numbers. Went through school and just was like, loved doing maths. And then it got to the point where I think I turned into the class clown because
you were bored?
I was. And I spent most of my time outside rather than actually in the classroom because I was always getting busted. And it wasn't until someone actually paid some attention to me in, I think it was at TAFE or something, and they said to me, is there any chance you can just sit these tests for us, these exams? We actually want to use all of your answers as our key.
Oh,
and
this
I'm
is fantastic.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Still didn't click. And then it was one day I was talking to my husband and he's like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do? And I was driving trucks at the time and I said, well, I'm really good with numbers, I think. He said, why don't you go to uni and just study accounting? And I've gone, oh, all right. So I did. And then I actually found I was amazing at numbers and I love it. I love everything about it and I love helping people and and I've been doing it ever since.
There you go. So a couple of decades, very passionate and you love what you're doing. You're very lucky. They
That
do
is
say,
really good. Yeah.
don't they? If you do what you love, you never work a single day in your life. So
and I've got
good
some
on
really
you.
good clients too, hey?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great clients.
No, but I seem to, every single person that comes in has their own story.
Yeah.
And I love being able to actually go into our little meeting and I make sure we've always got time and we sit down and every single person becomes a friend.
Yeah.
And they've got all of this knowledge that you empower them with and then you talk for half an hour and I do all the numbers and stuff and then the next year they come back and it's great. Everyone's awesome.
Satisfying that must be when you have someone walk in the door and, as you say, after a conversation they walk out the door going,
Yeah.
and
that's
you've
the
helped.
feedback I get.
Yeah.
And they always say, I come in and I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed about this appointment because they're expecting to walk in and find the normal accountant and everyone seems to think that they're going to get judged, and then afterwards they walk out and they go, oh, I feel so much better now.
Okay, because this is about money.
Yeah.
And money can be very, very stressful.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to chat with you today about is how do we help women become more savvy, empowered around their knowledge and understanding of money? What do we do? What's your big priority here?
You know what? Don't be scared of it. There are so many amazing podcasts out there and people that just give help and they give help to everyone like that and they show you how to deal with your money and that you don't need to be scared of it. Like it's money. It's money. If you've got a plan in place, then you don't need to be scared.
All right.
Most women, they tend to think, oh, it's okay, my husband just looks after it, or I can't save because I have all these bills to pay and I have nothing left over at the end.
Yeah.
I can't save. But there is, you just need to plan it. You need to plan.
All right, so planning, and we've always heard that. It is all about planning. I was doing a little bit of Google research, going down the rabbit hole about women and finances before Alisha came into the studio. And I have to tell you, I did not realise that up until 1974, with the passing of the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, women were not legally allowed to open bank accounts apply for credit or commit to a mortgage without needing a male cosign.
Are you kidding?
No, this
oh
is
my God.
1974.
Crazy.
Please.
And up until 1966, there was a policy in the Australian Public Service that also required women who got married to leave their jobs. It was called the marriage bar. So as soon as you got married, you were out because you potentially, they thought, would be taking a male role.
Could you imagine that actually happening now, though?
Yeah.
They'd be going, I mean, you can't pay your mortgage, so actually move out of the house because most people need those two working people now in the, Can you imagine that happening now?
Yeah.
It was kind of keeping women down for as long as they could, and now they've realised the value of women.
Oh, well, yeah, we're out there into the in the workforce,
Did you
aren't we?
know when the World War was happening, all the women actually were going and doing the men's jobs because they weren't there, but the women were doing them so much better. And then as soon as the men come back from war, they were all just kicked out and going, no.
Back to your homes.
And the men just took it over again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of when that movement of women actually starting to go, come on, I can do this too.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine living in that era where
We're very lucky.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because financial independence isn't just about the money. It is about choice.
Yeah.
It is about empowering, and it's about breaking barriers.
Yeah.
So you're a working woman. We're a working woman. What are some of the things that you look at when you talk about someone's finances and planning? So you just make sure that, of course, bills have to be paid, but there is a way to plan to set something aside, or it's pretty tough out there at the moment, isn't it?
You just have to start. You have to start. It's scary. And even to look at something for the first time, you don't understand it. And I mean, I have people come in that have their own small businesses and they go, I don't understand it. I'm coming to you because I don't understand it. And my very first job with them is not to make them feel stupid or anything. It's actually to get them to understand the basics, to go, this is the money you're bringing in.
Yeah.
This is the money that's going out. This money here, I don't think that you're spending it on the right stuff, but just to know the basics of it and
Where
to know
it's going.
you're gonna have to pay tax. If you're making money, you're gonna pay tax. And then people would say, "Oh, I need to buy a new car. Should I buy a new car?" And you go, "But why? Do you need to buy a new car, or you just want to buy a new car? You know, is it wise to buy a $50,000 car and have a $1,000 repayment every month when really that $1,000, your car is still great? Could you be spending it on something else? Can you be saving up money?"
All right. So first point would be get it down on paper. Write what your income is as it's coming in through the door, and write out what's going out the door, what your expenses are. And that allows you then, as you say, to start making decisions about are you making good choices in where your money
Do
is
you
going.
need the 5 different subscriptions to Spotify and to YouTube Music and to all of these different things? Do you need them? Are you using them? Can you double up with someone else?
Well, yeah, there's a thought.
And I mean,
a good
they're
friend.
trying to stop that. But do you need 3 different music subscriptions just because one, like they all do the exact same thing? You write down all of your expenses going out.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the crazy thing because you look at it and you go, oh, I didn't realise I was spending that much money. And most of the time, there's like a random crazy thing that you're donating to that you didn't even realise you're still donating to it.
Yeah.
I had one girl come in to see me, and honestly, she's one of my favourite clients that I've ever seen. And she was 19 at the time, and she said to me, I want to save for a house. Do you think you could help me do that?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, of course I can. Let's do this. Let's have a look. You earn a decent amount of money. We should be able to do this. Anyway, and I start going through everything, and I say to her, all right, do you have any donations or anything? And she said, yeah, I donate to this place. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. How much do you donate? $150 a week. And I've
Wow,
gone,
that's generous.
wow, that's a lot.
Goodness.
And then she said, oh, and I also donate $50 to these guys. And I've gone, oh, okay, sure. And then she goes, oh, and it ended up being something like $500 a week out of her pay that she was donating to all these places. and she couldn't understand why she actually wasn't having enough money to save up to buy a house. And I've just said to her, I normally don't do this, but you need to stop. Yeah, you need to stop. And I understand people feel like they need to give, and I'm not saying don't give.
And clearly she was on
budget
a
it.
very good salary or
Yeah.
wage.
I mean,
to
giving
have that
enough by then,
going
surely.
out. Yeah.
And I'm like, just budget. I'm not saying stop altogether, because the sort of person she was, she needed to give something back. And I'm like, but just know that giving your time is also giving back as well. So you don't need to give money to do stuff. Giving your time is also giving back.
Yeah.
So
true.
we ended up going through her whole entire budget, and on the spot I got her to email in and cancel all these subscriptions that she was paying all these donations to. And she still kept one, and she chose the one that she really wanted to use, and then she kept giving them money. But now she's actually saving up for a house and doing fantastic.
All right. I love it. So that's step 2. So step 1, get it down on paper, ins and outs. And step 2, start making some tough decisions about what you should or should not be purchasing or buying or, subscribing to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're looking at tax as well, just know in your head people say, hey, I'm so going to buy this new laptop because I'm going to get a tax deduction for it, because I can get a tax deduction for it for work. That tax deduction that you're getting, you're only getting back the tax on that. So if your tax rate is in that 32% or 30% for next year, you're only going to be getting back $300 of that $1,000 that you spent.
So it's still a questionable outlay in the sense of, do you really need it?
Do you need to buy that laptop or that computer? You're going to be paying $700 for it. If you really need it, then great. It's a really great buy, and you're only paying $700 for it. But if you've still got one that works and you can still keep using it for the next 3 years, do you need to spend $700 now when, So I don't know. Have a think about what you're spending your money on before you spend it, and don't just go, I need this, I'm going to go waste it and buy it, and then be all of a sudden, I haven't got money to pay my bills. Or,
Now, in saying it, of course, that we should be about paying for essentials, there is also a sense of a little bit of self-care. Like, don't feel guilty if you do want to set aside a little bit of money for things that you need.
And I think that's important, and I'm probably the worst person to talk to about this.
Really?
Yeah. I have my son Jaden. He's 11, nearly 12, and he's into sport, and I spend so much money on him, right? And he'll say to me,
Hope
Mum,
Jaden's not listening.
don't tell him I said this. He says, Mum, I really, really, really want these pair of shoes. And, I'm trying to drag him up perfect, right? I'm saying, mate, you've got to learn how to do things as well. So he's 11 and he has his own business.
Oh, no way.
And he's been doing that now for a year.
Yep.
And he's successful. He makes his own money.
Wow.
But he doesn't like to spend it. I think he still knows
wise.
that.
Do you know what? That's a
Very
good
wise.
ethos, to have,
He will spend it on his business, no problems at all. If he needs to buy anything he needs to buy for his business, he will do it. And so he sells dog treats, right? He does the dehydrating of dog treats.
Fantastic.
He will go and he will buy the meat that he needs to do it, and he'll spend money on it perfectly. But like, I took him to a sports store. He's like, oh, look at that basketball. And I've gone, mate, you've got your own money. Buy it. It's $30. And he goes, I'm not buying it. I'm not spending my money.
Oh, I love
I'm
that.
like, mate, come on, buy it. So I go, whatever. And then I'll buy it for him. And I'm more than happy to pay for it, right?
Yeah. Well, they're your kids.
I've
and,
worked so I could spoil them. And I work so I can spoil them. When I was growing up, I didn't get that. My parents had 5 kids, and if we wanted something, we got it for our birthday or for Christmas or something like that. But like, I never spend money on me. I am more than happy to go and spend $100 on a pair of shoes because one of my kids need it or because they want it.
It's interesting how mums will forego.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying because I tend to do that as well.
Yeah.
I'll think to myself, oh, well, I was second guess
Yeah.
spending a bit of money on myself for a purchase, but for your kids.
Yeah.
you
How
do
many
it.
times have you had something in your cart, online shopping at 11 o'clock at night, and you go, oh my God, I love that top. And then you go, oh, but do I need it? And then you just don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm probably one of the worst people to do that. And I know that you need to do stuff for yourself. Otherwise, you wear yourself down. Like as women, we have all of these different jobs that are falling on us. So we don't just work.
Yeah, so
we
true.
have school, we have the kids, we have the house, we have all of these different things. And if you don't take the time and put aside some of that money and don't feel guilty about it, go get your nails done, go get your hair done. Like if you look good, you feel good, and then that resonates out to everyone else,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
does.
So take time, put some money aside, because it is bloody important to do that for yourself. It's your mental health that you need to do that too.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough being a mum. It's tough, managing a family. So
It's
you
tough
need all
being
the
a
help.
woman.
It is tough being a woman, particularly in this climate at the moment.
What about the pay gaps?
Yeah, okay. It's really interesting because I was looking at some data that was released in February. It says the average gender pay gap for equal roles as a nation here in Australia sits at 21.7%. So they're saying that over a year that can be up to around $26,000 pay gap between a male and a female. This is for the same role, so they're doing the same job. Clearly there's a lot of factors that can go into that as well. And we did touch on that before when we spoke about how, working women also, though, are balancing things like their responsibilities to their children. So they are more inclined maybe to have to take a little bit more time off or step away from the office, which then reflects on superannuation. I know this is your specialty, Alisha, super.
Yeah. But, like as we're talking now, there's another factor that I don't think is considered in this. If you're looking like for like, I think the thing that they don't touch on is, say, you're a man doing the same job as me right now. And to be honest, I did go through this at one of the other places that I worked for, right? And it's half the reason why I am working in my own business now. Like for like, you're getting paid more than me because you have been there for longer in time. Well, we've been there exactly the same amount of time, but I've gone and had kids. And even though we've studied, and to be honest, I'm way smarter than what you are, you're getting paid more than me. But there's a big promotion coming up. I get overlooked on this just because I've got a vagina. I'm a mum and I have got way more responsibilities, but you're going to get this promotion over me just because you're there and you're visible in front of them 100% of the time. But I'm doing stuff behind the scenes. I'm catching up on all of that work I didn't get finished, and I'm staying up until midnight making sure that everything is perfect for that next day and I don't have anything left. I'm giving 400% of my job, but you're still going to be getting that promotion and not me. The super thing that you were touching on, it's crazy. When I have a look at some of my clients' supers, most of the time the husband is going to have like a few $100,000 worth of super, but the woman maybe 20 to 30% of the super or 20 to 30,000 in super. And you look at it and you go, yeah. And it's not just because they've taken time off. It's because, one, they might be working part-time or it's because they are getting paid less. So when we look at that example of you and I doing the exact same job, but you're a man and I'm a woman, you're getting paid more super than I am for exact same work.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's just so many avenues to go down with this. I mean, I was reading statistically that there are many women, older women, who are actually living in poverty because of that scenario where, say, for example, their marriages break up or whatever. And they're having to exist on
nothing,
far less money than their male counterparts. Yeah.
I don't know. And I've heard stories of that where they have broken up in later life, the kids have moved out and they've gone, hey,
don't like you anymore.
I don't need to stay with you anymore. So they've gone, let's go do this ourselves. And then they get stuck and they've got no money because the man had all the super. And sometimes when they're a little bit older, they don't fight for their rightful amount when they go through that divorce. And it's just,
Yeah, they walk away with a lot less and really it's not viable for them financially.
And you know what? To be honest, I don't know what the answer is. And I don't know how to fix it. And I would love to do it. I'd love to figure out exactly how to make it fair on everyone. You can't be having the government pay for everything.
No.
But you can't be putting it back on to the small businesses to pay for everything. But I don't know. I'd love to work it out, and I don't know the answer. Hey.
Well, it is interesting because the current system as it exists with superannuation is linked to paid work.
yeah.
So it is overwhelmingly disadvantaged for women because traditionally we are the ones that step aside to be parents. We look after the children at home. So we are traditionally the ones stepping away from our paid roles. So we're always going to be the disadvantaged aspect in the party. I mean, I suppose statistically maybe that is changing because more men are stepping in to that role.
Yeah. I don't know. My husband's amazing, so I can never, ever complain about him. And we take a very shared role in our partnership. Like but I kind of feel like he's a one-off. I don't think that it happens with most people. So
no, look, I'm again very lucky in that my husband and I have managed to do some really good juggling of it all.
Yeah.
But biologically, women are the ones that fall pregnant, so we are the ones that give birth, and there is a sense of responsibility.
Like me. I think when I had Christina, I literally took like 2 days off work.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But do you know, the thing that I went through with that is when I look back at it, I go, this is kind of disgusting. I didn't tell anyone I was pregnant
Because you were worried. Why?
because I was worried. And I had people come up to me and say, I didn't even know you were pregnant. And I said, yeah, I didn't tell anyone because I run my own business. And if you hear, oh, she's pregnant, she's not going to be there next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case. Like I was planning on working and Phil was planning on taking maternity leave.
Yeah.
But it was people just assume, she's not coming back to work.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell anyone I was pregnant.
Yeah.
I had one of my friends walk into my office. Like they booked their appointment and they come in and they're like, is that a baby? And I've gone, oh, yes. Actually,
Forgot to tell you about that.
I was pregnant and I had a baby and she's next door. She's like 2 weeks old. And they've gone, are you joking me? I didn't even know. And I'm like, but I can't tell everyone because they're just going to assume. And then all of a sudden my livelihood is getting, I don't know, threatened because.
There's a whole lot of assumptions being made.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What about for someone young like Sid, about to embark out there in the workforce? What are some of the things that the younger ones need to be on the lookout for?
Because
go
I've
work.
not
Just go and
thought
work,
about
make
money
money.
at all.
Do you know what? I think that you are in the perfect spot. The perfect spot because you've got you're like can I say virgin?
Yeah.
You're like virgin with money. Like no one's said, oh, this is how you should do it. You've got no bad habits yet. So you are the perfect person, just like my Jaden. I've said, one, find something that you love, not something that you have to do. Find something that you love and love doing it. In your life, you're not going to just work in one job. You're going to have probably like 3 or 4 different professions, like full jobs that you do. And you'll love them for a bit and then you go, I really think I love this. And that's just because you're getting mature and you're changing all through your life, right? But start putting some money aside now. Start thinking about it. I bought Jaden that what's his name? Tom Pipe? No, the Barefoot Investor.
Oh yeah.
There's a kid's version of that, and I bought that for him. And that was when he said to me, "Mum, I want to start my own business." So, like, think about it. What's stopping you from doing that? Nothing at all. Literally nothing. Like, what's something that you love doing?
We had this conversation, didn't we? What, on the weekend, Sydney?
Yeah, we did on the Oval.
But what do you love doing? Like literally, if you could choose one thing that you could get paid for that you absolutely love doing, what would you do?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Just say it.
I mean, I'd love to get paid for doing the podcast.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
So what's stopping you from doing that though?
Herself.
Myself.
And for me, all I think that you need to get that over the line is one person to say the right thing to you. Just one person to say, hey, let me help you. This is not that hard. Like if you've got someone there pushing you that's going to be like, you know, let's work towards that. All of a sudden you're sitting there going, this is doable. You just need that one person to be in your corner to back you. So let's do it. I'm talking like literally. Let's do it. There
I
is
think the right
nothing that's
person is
stopping
saying
you.
it right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And I get that. I totally get that. Like I lectured at uni for some time as well. And I had so many students afterwards come up and say, I'm so glad you come into my life at that exact moment because that's exactly what I needed. So let's do it. Let's work towards it. You know something that you love to do now. Let's make it so you can make money from it. We set it up. First thing, make sure that you've got a tax file number because
Check.
it's something that in school, and I don't understand why they haven't done it in school. Like kids are starting to do their little tiny jobs from after school, and they need to. They need to learn the responsibility.
They do. You're right. Financial independence comes from actually having the knowledge, and it would be nice to see in the education system that children are taught so much more about it.
And like basic tax. When I first met you years and years ago, like you would have not years and years ago, like adultish years ago, you would have no idea on taxes. And it's the same for every single kid. They don't know the basics. Like, can I claim anything? Should I just submit it? Like, I think schools should actually have some of that in there. Like this is what you need to do a tax file number. This is what your income is. These are the expenses that you can claim. You know, this is where you should go for help. Just basics. Otherwise, like you're starting off from scratch, already being behind the eight ball, you know?
Yep. Because it is such a vital element of everyone's life.
Yeah. And then so many kids that come to me now, they just go, I got no idea. And so I've actually started off when a kid first comes into me, it's always the exact same appointment. The mum goes, is there any chance I can book in for my child at the same time? And I go, yeah, of course. However, this is not going to go the way that you expect it to go. And they go, oh, what do you mean? And I say, so what's going to happen is you're actually going to leave the room because I need to talk to your child.
Nice.
And I go, and I'm charging your child because they need to know that what I'm doing has value. And like I would charge them $50 and it is just a minimal charge. So they've got a bill. They know I'm going to bill them because I'm a professional and I'm giving them help and they have to pay it. And that is my biggest rule. They have to pay it. It has to come out of their bank account, not their parents' bank account.
Yep.
And it works fantastic. And I sit there and I give this older teen the exact attention that they need for that point. I go through all right, this is what you're going to need to do. So in the future, this is how you should be taking your receipts. For your job, this is the sort of stuff that you can claim. If you ever get stuck, give me an email, I'll go through it. And then I go, the biggest thing, receipts. Oh, I forgot my receipts, whatever. Take a photo. Every single person has a phone on them now. Take a photo of it, put it in that, I'm really bad, but put it in that love heart, the favourite photo section, and then it's there. And then literally, and people do this. These kids that come through now, they go, oh, here's my phone. And I'm like, oh, sweet. They go, oh, yeah, receipt. Nice. And they're all in their little favourites folder,
Yeah.
All right.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Excellent advice.
But kids need to do it. And it's then, the next year, they are not scared to come and see me. No. They are not scared to come and pay me to do this. They're coming to a professional, getting it done correctly, and they know what they're doing and they're not scared. It's all a mental thing with people. I don't know why, but people seem to find money really, really scary,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think it's a very intimidating area to go in, particularly when you don't have the knowledge because you're just not sure what you're doing.
Reach out to someone, hey, because there are so many people out there that just do an amazing job. And I know that I'm not the only person in Bunbury, at least, that there are so many amazing women that do this job that help everyone that they possibly can. I'm still looking at you for later, okay? We will set this up.
Well, because Sydney was saying, I'd like to do like YouTube, be a YouTuber or a podcast. I said, you already are, Sydney.
We just have to make money from it now.
Already are. So there's no fear because she's already doing it.
Yeah.
That was a confidential conversation, Joe.
Oh, she let out a bag.
Nothing's confidential.
We can edit that.
So let's go down this road, starting a small business. What are some of the elements here that we should be looking out for? Because there's a lot of women out there that take on the sideline business.
Yeah.
If they're at home, they're busy doing bits and pieces. So, You've got some interesting comments about the small business.
Oh my gosh, please stay away from the multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
So, and by that I mean the Tupperware and the I don't know, all the other ones.
All the stuff that we see on TikTok
Yeah.
coming up all the time. How I made $10,000 a week simply by staying at home.
Just be very careful with it. You know, there is so much that people don't make money out of these. And I've had so many people come into me and they go, yeah, let's do this. The ATO really actually doesn't see it as a proper job. And you will put so much money into it and you won't actually make any of it out. Like there are, and obviously there are always exceptions to it, but the majority of people don't make money. And I'm talking from experience. I actually don't think I have one client who's made a significant amount of money. Most years they're in a loss. So
is
stay
that,
away from them.
is that the difference between small business or, as you so succinctly put it, a hobby?
No. The multi-level marketing is just, you know, you're sitting there and you've found a product that you really, really love. And I'm going to go Tupperware just because it's the only one I can think of right now, right? But say you really love this and you want to sell it to your friends as well, and you want your friends to become involved in this. The only way that you're making money from this is to actually get people to sit underneath you and then you get commissions from them and everything. And it doesn't work. And then you end up feeling really horrible because you're actually like sitting there pushing it onto people as well. So stay away from them. But in saying that, it's such a great idea for people to be able to make money, like start a little small business. When you're looking at business versus hobby, you've got to come back to what's the purpose of it? Why am I doing this? Am I doing this
To bring myself joy and happiness, or am I doing it to make money?
Yeah. And you can make money, but are you making a lot of money? Am I doing this to actually support myself, to bring extra money in or whatever? If you're doing it full for purpose and you're starting to make money, then that's going to be a small business. If you're doing it and you're selling stuff just to cover your costs, you make a little bit of money, but really it's a nothing, then that's probably more of a hobby. Go out, find something you love doing, and then if you can, start making money from it. And then all of a sudden you get to that point where I have a client who's come in 2 weeks ago and she said to me, I need some help. I'm actually really, really stressed. I'm starting to make money from this and I think it's no longer a hobby. Can you help me? And she was really scared to actually make that phone call to me. And I'm like, well, you know what? From this point, it's my problem. It's not your problem. Stop stressing about it and I can deal with it. And, you know, every other accountant is exactly the same. They will help you through it. And all we did was we set her up an ABN and we're saying this is now not a hobby. And I've said to her, but now because this isn't a hobby, we have to start paying tax. So the way that you've been dealing with your money and dealing with everything so far, it needs to change. You need to start putting money aside because say it's not just a stay-at-home mum, or say it's a person who works full-time, but they really want to get some extra money in. Just know if you're making 10 grand in profit on that little business, that income is taxed. It's not taxed at like, I don't know, the small amount. It's taxed at whatever level your other income is at.
So whatever level that takes you up to.
Yeah. So if you're at 60 grand already, you're going to be taxed at from 60 to 70. So it's whatever level you're at. So you just have to make sure that you're putting aside tax. And don't just go, oh, I've made 10 grand in this year, I have to have 3 grand aside for tax, because it doesn't work on that. It works on your profit. So if you've had, 10 grand of income that's come in and 5 grand of expenses that have gone out, you're only going to be paying tax on 5 grand. So if you've got like a lot of stock that you actually have to buy or something like that that's actually using up all of your profits, you're not going to be paying as much tax. So I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, some more great handy hints and tips.
Just don't get stuck on those multi-level marketing there.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard so many horror stories. So, yeah. And don't get stressed out about the fact that you've got a hobby, you think it might be a business or, have fun with it as well. Get your money in, use that money to, I don't know, go and get your hair done, use that extra money. Yeah.
Financial freedom. That's what we're all chasing in the end, aren't we?
Yeah.
Why could I not just win lotto is the next question
yeah.
here.
I don't know.
Sort that one out for
I
us,
have
Alisha.
dreams about
What's
it
going
now.
on?
I think every single person has dreams. I felt like it was just me, and I'm like, I'm so going to win money soon. I'm so going to win money.
Oh, yeah.
Then I had a client come in, she goes, I have dreams. I'm going to win money soon. And I've gone,
You too.
and then I just realised, maybe everyone has this same dream.
I want to
eventually.
I want to win 500 million, everyone.
Yeah. Well, dream big.
Yeah, they do talk about putting it out there, don't they?
Yeah.
Visualising.
Everyone does it.
Oh, no,
Eventually.
it's really good, Alisha. I love all this this talk around finances because, as you say, can be a scary area for women out there, and particularly if you are on your own.
Yeah.
And you've got to take charge and take control. So don't be frightened of it.
Yeah. Just start the conversation. And do you know what? Like, have a talk with your girlfriends. Go and have a wine or have a coffee while the kids are playing in the playground or something, Just say, what have you guys found that works? Are you able to save any money? How much are you putting aside? Literally, go and set up a separate bank account and just start putting little bits in there and make it so you don't touch it. Like, put $5 in there. Put $5 a week in there and then just don't touch it. And all of a sudden, there's money in there.
Yeah.
And you can go, I've saved up the money so I can actually do something. I can go down south for a weekend or something. And it might take you forever to save up that much money because you don't have that much spare cash, but do that. Do you know something that I actually have started doing, and I think it was about 2 years ago, it was like an envelope thing. And in week 1, you put in $1. In week 2, you put in $2. And then you keep going. And by the end of the year, you've got like $2,000 that's sitting there. And for me, I actually did that. And I went to the point where at Christmas time, I've gone, I've actually got all the money sitting there that I need to have for all of my Christmas stuff. And it was really good. So like week 1, $1, week 2, $2, week 3, $3. For me, I sort of mix it around and I had it on my phone. So I'd go, this week I've got a little bit of extra money. I might actually put the $50 in this week.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
it's, it worked.
Well, there
really
you go.
well.
There's one, the envelope project.
Yeah.
Let's all get on board that one.
And you can like go to Temu. And they actually have.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they do. I think it's like $2 or something.
It's really interesting the way you talk about though, because it is small steps in many ways. I mean, you've got to be in it for the long game.
Yeah.
There's no short return on that side of it when you are actually trying to save your money.
Yeah.
It's just step by step by step.
Yeah. And do you know what? As much as you possibly can, start to plan out. Like the expenses that you're going to have are always going to be the exact same expenses. You've either got your mortgage or your rent. You've got your car payments, or if you don't, like your running of your vehicle or whatever. Yeah. You're always going to have the same expenses. If you can, start putting little bits aside for those expenses for this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you don't have the money sitting there to pay your rates, you're going to have to pay them off in installments. But if you start putting little bits aside, then maybe for next year you actually might have enough money to pay off half of it. And while you're still saving money, like you can still pay the next bit. Like it's start doing little bits and start planning for the bills that you're going to have going forward. At this point in time, nothing you can do. Like you can't magically make all this money appear now, but don't be scared to plan. The biggest thing is the knowledge. If you're super scared of everything and you don't even look at it, you're never going to get better. If you don't be so afraid of it, take that knowledge, take that power and actually start looking at it. Like women are the most smartest people I've ever met in my life, and there's nothing that can stop them. And they do everything. Like just have a look, just sit down, have a look and start to plan.
Specifically then about superannuation.
Yeah.
Is there ways that if, say, you've gone back, you've had a child and you've been out of work for 12 months or
Yeah.
whatever. Is there a way that you can still put money into your super? Like, explain a little bit about that.
So every year there is an amount that you are allowed to put in. You can put in money without claiming it as a tax deduction. So say you are, I don't know, say you're still not actually earning that much money. Maybe you don't want to claim it as a tax deduction, then you can still put it in. And there's a limit that you're allowed to put in, but it's like a significant limit. If you wanted to claim it as a tax deduction, you've got like 27,500 at the moment that you are allowed to put in, and we can claim that as a tax deduction. But that 27.5 is including all of your employer contributions. So I don't know, whatever your employer is putting in during the year is based on whatever your wage is.
Yeah.
But on top of that, if say you had an extra, I don't know, $500 or $1,000 that you wanted to put in, then you could put that in and you could get the tax back from it as well. And when I say claim it as a tax deduction, you're still going to be paying tax on it in your super fund, but you're paying tax at 15%, whereas you might be at 32% in your individual tax returns.
Okay, so don't feel afraid if you've got a little bit of extra cash sitting around to
Yeah.
turn around and go, you know what, I'm going to put that into my super.
And you're boosting it. And,
Yeah.
the other thing, as a sole trader, you don't have to put in money to super. And that's another thing that actually people get stuck on because they don't have to put it in, they never put it in, some people. And then all of a sudden they don't have super sitting there either because they're not putting it in because they're only just making their money and, they have that little tiny bit of profit and it's just paying for everything else. So you can get stuck with it that way as well. The co-contribution, so you know how a few years ago the government was like, yeah, put in money and we'll double it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's sort of not like that anymore. And I think you're only getting back like maybe $500 max. So don't count on that.
All right, so ask more questions around that aspect. Again, just get the knowledge that you need to suit your own particular circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you reach out to an accountant and find someone that you love and actually make that connection with them and ask them the questions. And I can guarantee you they're never going to make you feel like you're stupid. Like ask every question that you can. Annoy them. Ask everything.
Yeah.
They're the best clients, hey?
Oh, you're a good bean counter. I love you, Alisha. Nice work. Very good.
Alicia, do you have a quote or something that you would like to share with women?
No, but you know what I think? As Shauna said to me before, I don't have any awesome quotes, but something that every woman in their life needs to hear is, don't be scared of money. It's just money, and every single person can be empowered by it. They just need to have that little basic knowledge. Go Google, go sit there at 11 o'clock at night and just go, this is an idea. I could do this. Don't be scared to start that random little small business that you've always been dreaming of doing because you can do it. There's nothing stopping you. If you've got that little bit of time and you've got the energy to put it in, go for it. Don't let anything hold you back just because you're a little bit afraid. So you can do this. You can do this.
Empowering words from Alisha. Thank you, Alisha.
And we will leave links below if you would like to know more information about this topic. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed listening. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Loved it. Thank you.
And always remember,
Every day.
You are remarkable.